Welcome to this video. We're going to be talking about evaluating functions, basically how to plug in numbers and correctly get values as outputs, whether you're using a table or a function itself. Let's start with tables. When we're looking at a table here, sometimes the y values won't go out and say it. So just remember that, when you see the word f of x or g of x, those are y values. Specifically, this is for the function f, and this is for the function g. Now, when we're talking about y values, input gives you output. So input is going to be what you plug into the x value. Output is what you would get in these. So what we're plugging in are x values, and what we're getting out of it are your y values. So take g of 0, for example. If I want to know what is g of 0, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this being an x value, since it's we're plugging in 0. And I want to say, all right, look at my x values, and here is the 0. When I plug that into the f function, I get 3. So f of 0 is 3. When I plug 0 into the g function, I get 6. So 0 gives me an output for the g function of 6. So g of 0 is equal to 6. G of 0 is 6. For part B, we have a twist to it. We have a 3 on the outside. So what we do with that 3 is we're going to end up multiplying whatever we get when we plug in -2 into the f function by it. So cover up that 3 to begin with and just focus on f of -2. Now what I want to plug in is -2. So that's an x value once more. And I want to go to my x row and I want to find -2. There it is. I want to further plug it into the f function. So the f function is the kind of the middle function there. G of -2 is equal, or f of -2 is equal to 10. So I'll start with saying f of -2, and we know that's going to be 10. So that 3 does is it takes your answer and it multiplies by this value. So we're not taking 3 and timesing it by -2. We're taking 3 and timesing it by what you get when you plug in -2, which is 10. So that's going to really be 3 times 10. 3 times 10. 3 times 10, 30. Use a calculator if you need to for some of these, but your answer would be, in this case, 30, not 10 or not -6, but 30, okay? A couple more. We'll try C, then maybe I'll help you try D on your own, okay? So let's look at number C, or letter C. We want to do f of 4 minus g of -4. F of 4 minus g of -4. So let's start with 4. Look at your x column, x row, and we're going to look at 4 to begin with. F of 4. F is the middle one. What is f of 4? That's -5. Now we want to subtract g of -4. So we're going to minus g of -4. So g of -4, -4, g is -5. So once again, g of -4, g of -4 is -5. So what that looks like is -5 minus -5. -5 minus -5. -5 minus a negative is plus a positive. So -5 plus 5, and that gives us what? 0. The next two deal with kind of combining functions and operating with them. If you would try these two and then pause the video, and we can check that after you unpause it. Hopefully got a chance to get this one started. If we look at g of 0 minus 3 f of 6, g of 0, we actually calculated that over there. That was 6. F of 6, remember we're plugging in 6 into f, is looking at the f row. 6 will give you -2. And then that 3 is going to be multiplication. So 6 minus 3 times -2. If you put that all in your calculator, your graphing calculator or Desmos, that'll give you an answer. And if you go to desmos.com and go to graphing calculator, you can do 6 minus parentheses negative 3 times negative 2. And that, of course, is going to give you the right answer. 6 minus 3 times negative 2 is 12. If you are doing this by hand, just remember your order of operations. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6, but you're doing 6 minus negative 6. And so just like, over here, the negatives will cancel out. And so that's really 6 plus 6, which is 12. So you can do that by hand if you want, but that's definitely something you can do in the calculator. Over here, f of 3, hopefully you got f of 3 as 6 and g of 3 as negative 2. So we're going to times those together, and that's negative 12. And these ones are kind of honors level extensions. Feel free to watch if you're not an honors, because they're not difficult. You just got to know how to kind of read through the table and understand the sequence and order of them. So I'll walk you through the first couple, and you can try that last one. All right, so for f, when it says f of g of 3, the way we have to do this is we have to do the inside first. So we're going to do g of 3. So we're going to take that 3, we're going to go to 3, and our output in this case is going to be negative 2. So g of 3 is negative 2, since that g row is going to give us negative 2. The next thing we do is we take our output from g of 3, and we take that answer, and that's going to be our new input into the f function. So that's going to become f of negative 2. So once again, g of 3 is negative 2. Negative 2 now becomes the number I plug in to the f function. So I need to go over to negative 2. And notice that negative 2 for the f function gives me 10. In fact, we calculated that up there, didn't we? F of negative 2 is 10. So your answer for this is going to be, when it's all said and done, 10, right? We plug in the inside, we get our output, we use that output, and we plug it into the outside function, and we get our final answer. Let's walk through G once together, and then you can try H. All right, for G, our inside function is f of 3. So we're going to get f of 3 first. And somewhere along the way, we've already calculated f of 3. So f of 3, actually, we did not. We calculated g of 3. So f of 3, if I look at 3, my f function is 6. F of 3 is 6. Now that I have my f of 3 function, I got my answer. I'm going to take that 6. That's my new x value. That's going to go into the outside function, so g of 6. So 6 will be here. If I do g of 6, g is that second row. My final output is going to be negative 1. So my answer to this entire expression, g of f of 3, is negative 1. Do one more pause, try that one, check your answer with me after you unpause it. Hopefully you got a chance to try it. If you haven't, repause it again and try it on your own. Now click play. Let's do the inside function, g of negative 1. G of negative 1, when I plug in negative 1 for the g, I get 9. So you see that's going to be 9. And then we're going to apply that into the f function. So if I go to f of 9, go back to 9 over here, and f is the middle line, so that's going to give me 9 as well. So f of 9 is 9. So that means f of g of negative 1 is 9. And that's how you operate with inputs in tables. Thanks for watching. The next example is going to be inputting into functions with the actual function themselves. So we'll be using a calculator to evaluate some of these answers. Thanks for watching.